this pointer is a variable. So we have one more pointer, for example x. This is if it is a pointer variable, it stores the address of the particular space. This is another method of allocating memory for a program or a variable or an object. There are two methods, one is static and second one is dynamic memory allocation. A normal variable is used to store the different types of values, whereas the pointer variable are used to store only the address of another variable. Dear students, welcome to Computer Science classes. I am Ravi Kumar KR, lecturer in Computer Science, Vidhyaashram PU College, Temple of Excellence, Mysuru. Students, let us start our discussion with the new chapter, that is chapter 11, pointers. Now let us see the weightage of the chapter. So here, in this chapter, you will get one MCQ question for 1 mark and one 3-mark question. So total weightage is 4 marks, and there are 2 questions and total weightage is 4 marks. Now in this chapter we are going to cover the topics like pointers and usage of pointers, pointers with arrays, strings and structures, dynamic and static allocation of memory, pointers and functions, and pointers and objects. So in other words, this chapter is pointers, and here we are going to learn how to use pointers with different programming constructs like with arrays, strings and functions and objects. These are the topics to be covered in this chapter. Now let us see the introduction part of it. So what is a pointer? Now when you declare a variable in a computer program, the computer reserves an amount of space for that particular variable and uses the variable name to refer to the memory space. This is what we have learned in the beginning introduction classes. Here, normally we assume that computer memory is a group of cells. We assume this is a group of cells. So what is the meaning of the sentence here? Point here is, suppose if you want to store one variable, for example, I want to store value 10. This is the value 10 and this stored in one of the memory cell. And how do we retrieve it back? Or I want to access the value of 10. How do we do that? That is, we are giving a name for this. This, for example, it is A. So here A is referred to this value 10. So this is a variable. So as soon as you declare a variable in a computer programming, for example, you know what is it? Suppose if I say int A is a variable. So as soon as you declare a variable, so the computer stores some space for the variable A. So whenever and the values stored in particular A are accessible through this variable. So that is the first point here. So here we are referring with variable name. This is A is the name of a variable. It refers to this particular memory location. Now this will allow you to store the value in that variable in that space. Here 10 is stored in the variable A and in particular cell in the particular space. Now the computer refers to that space using address. Here this is for our reference, but as far as the computer is concerned, it is going to using the concept of address. Now here each and every cell has an address that is called memory address or a cell address. So the computer will make use of these addresses, address of this particular cell for their references. So that is the concept of pointer. So what is a pointer? Pointer is a variable that holds a memory address, usually the location of another variable in memory. For example, so this is the memory cell and the memory address of all the cell. For example, this is 100, 101, 102, 103, 104 and 105. So these are the memory address. We assume that these are the memory address of a particular cell in a computer memory. So this pointer is a variable. So we have one more pointer, for example x. This is if it is a pointer variable, it stores the address of the particular space. In this example, we can assume that 104 is the address of this particular variable A. So pointer variable is a variable, it stores the address of another variable in this memory. So this is the concept of pointers. Let us move on to next slide. Now, what are the advantages of using pointers? So here, first one, it is possible to write efficient programs. So one of the plus point is that we can write efficient program and memory is utilized properly. It can be utilized properly and dynamically allocate and deallocation of memory. So this is another method of allocating memory for a program or a variable or an object. There are two methods, one is static and second one is dynamic memory allocation. So this helps us to allocate memory dynamically, means during program execution. Next one is easy to deal with hardware component. This is another advantage of that, and it establishes communication between the program and the data. Here all the data are accessed through this memory address or through pointers. So these are the advantages of using pointers. Now in the next slide we see how do we declare a variable or a pointer variable. So now there is a difference. Now students, you know the difference between a variable and a pointer variable. A normal variable is used to store the different types of values, whereas the pointer variable are used to store only the address of another variable. Now look at the syntax now. Syntax is data type, space, star and variable name. This is the syntax of that. Now here this data type is any valid data type and variable name is an identifier or it refers to a pointer variable. It is an identifier, it refers to pointer variable, means it stores the address of another variable. Now the presence of star, this is the star here, this star indicates that it is a pointer variable. Now how do you differentiate with normal variable? For example, if I say int a, this is a normal variable. So this is a normal variable and it is not a pointer variable. Suppose if I write same thing as int and star b, for example star b, here star b, this is what is there in the syntax. So this star or asterisk indicates that b is a pointer variable. So it is differ from normal variable. In this example, a is a normal variable. It stores different types of constant or integer constant in this example, and b is a pointer variable. It stores the address of some other variable. Now look at the example here. Int is a data type, the data type and space star IPTR. Here IPTR is name of a variable. It is an identifier. So IPTR is declared to be the pointer variable of type integer. So if you look at the syntax, data type is here int. So it is a integer pointer variable. Similarly, we can have float star FPTR. Here float is a data type and here FPTR is a pointer variable. It stores the variable of the type float. Now similarly, character pointer variable. So this is the syntax and how do we declare a pointer variable. Now let us move on to next slide, and here pointer variable assignment. Now how do we assign values, or how do we assign the pointer variable some values or address of some other variable. So here we can assign the address of a variable to a pointer variable as follows. Now we are going to assign only the address of other variable. That is the meaning of pointer variable. So for example, int num equal to 25. So here num is a normal variable, stores the value 25. And here int iptr, please observe this. Here this star asterisk, it indicates a pointer variable. So star iptr, here iptr is a variable, is a pointer variable. It stores the address of some other variable. Next one is iptr equals ampersand, or this and symbol, ampersand num. So here this ampersand stands for address of variable. So this is the and symbol, or this is ampersand. It indicates the address of a variable. So in the above example, the variable, this is num is 25, and it assigned to a pointer variable iptr. So here, if I say what is the meaning of this, so iptr, this is the pointer variable. It stores the address of this num variable. That is the concept of pointer. Pointer is a variable. It stores the address of other variables. Now let us move on to next slide. Next operator is address of, what we have seen in the previous slide. So this is address of operator. So here it is a unary operator. You know what is unary operator? You might have learned in previous year or in first PUC. A unary operator is the one which has only one operand, or it operates on one operand. So it returns the memory address of its operand. For example, int var. This is a normal declaration. So var is an integer variable, and ampersand var is its address. So if I say ampersand var means the address of that particular variable. Here operator, this operator is an unary operator, as we have seen in the first point definition, unary operator. And we have to read, you should read an operator as the address of operator. So this ampersand or and symbol, this is referred as address of operator, means we are referring to the address of other variable. In this example, ampersand var means address of the variable var. This is address of operator. Now let us say a simple program to know the difference or to differentiate the variables and pointer variable. Now this program, as we start with header files and void main, and observe this here. Int var is a normal declaration. This is a normal declaration. And int star ptr, here star is asterisk, is a pointer variable, or so ptr is a pointer variable, and one more variable is int val. It is a variable, normal declaration, normal variable. Now var equal to 3000. We are assigning value to this variable, and ptr equals ampersand of var. So here ptr is a pointer variable and ampersand var or address of var. So this is a pointer variable. It stores the address of the variable var. That is the meaning of the statement. Next one is val. Here value equals to star ptr. Here this is another reverse operator. It stores the content of the variable. So star ptr. Now if you use output statement here, look at this. Cout value of variable. Variable equals var endl, value of ptr, as well as we are printing value of val. Now if you observe the output here, the first one is value of var. So this is var variable. So var value is 3000. It is going to print this statement, value of var equal to 3000. It is going to print this. And next one is value of ptr equal to ptr. Observe this. This is a pointer variable. It stores the address of this, because we have assigned the address of variable to pointer variable. It's supposed to print the address of the variable. So this is the output, and this is in hexadecimal number system that we will not be knowing yet. So this is the address of the variable var. That is the output of this statement. Next one is value of value. Here same value is again, we are using 3000. This is star PTR. It is a reverse operator and it gives the content of the variable var. So this is a simple program to show the working of pointer variables. Next, we move on to next slide. Here, pointer arithmetic. Now, here there are 4 arithmetic operators that can be used in pointers. They are plus plus increment operator, minus plus and dot. This is an operator. This we can make use of in pointers or with the pointers. Now, with the help of this, following operations can be performed on pointers. With the help of with the pointers, we can do these type of following other types. We can perform that or operations. One is we can add an integer value to a pointer. This is we can add value to a pointer or pointer variable. We can subtract an integer value from a pointer. So it is possible to subtract and add pointer from and to the pointers. Next one is we can compare 2 pointers if they point the element of the same array. So it is possible to compare 2 pointers. If I say 2 pointers, both the pointers will be having memory address of 2 different variables. We can compare those 2 pointers if at all, if they are in the refer to same array. Next one is we can subtract 1 pointer from another pointer if both point to the same array. It is also possible if at all in the refers to the same array. Next one is we can assign 1 pointer to another pointer provided both of the same type. If I say same type, you have said in the beginning their data type. If the both of them are same data type, then it is possible to assign a 1 pointer to another pointer. These are the operations can be performed with pointers. Next one is for these are the points where operations cannot be performed on pointers. One is addition of 2 pointers, that is not possible, and subtraction of pointers from one to another is not possible, and multiplication as well as division of 2 pointers or 2 pointer variables, that is not possible. These are the operations cannot be performed on pointers. Now let us move on to next slide. Next one is pointers and arrays. Now this is concept of arrays. You know what are arrays? Arrays is a group of elements of similar data type or same data type. So now look at the example here. Now declaration is int a of 5. Here a is the name of an array and its size is 5. Accordingly, it's going to reserve 5 space here. This is how we assume an array. So array here always array index start with 0. It is a of 0. Index is a of 0. A of 1, A of 2, A of 3 and A of 4. And here when the program is compiled, the compiler does not save the address of all the elements, but it only saves the address of the first element, that is A of 0. Here this is an array, and when you compile with the concept of pointer variables, so the pointer variable stores only the address of only the first index, that is A of 0. So then later when during the program execution, it takes the address of remaining cells or next one by one. So this is the concept with pointers. In pointers and arrays, or with respect to arrays, the pointers always stores the address of only first element and it will not save the address of remaining elements or address of remaining index of an array. This is pointers and arrays. Now in the next slide, next one is array of pointers. So you know what is an array. Array is nothing but group of elements. Now the concept here is array of pointers. What is the meaning of this? The array of pointer, here pointer is a variable which stores address of another variable. An array of pointers means it contains a collection of addresses. Obviously we say array of pointers means this is an array, a point array which contains the address of other variables. So the content of the elements will be the addresses of other variables in an array, that is array of pointers. Look at the example here. Suppose if I say int IPTR is 5. So this is a declaration of an array, size is 5, and we are assigning values to variable I equal to 10, 20, j, k, l, m. We are assigning the size is 5. We are assigning 5 values with a different 5 variables. Now here IPTR of 0. If I say IPTR of 0 means I am accessing the first index, the first element. It stores the ampersand of AI. Now what you have learned in the previous slide, and stands for address of operator. So we are going to store address of I, address of this variable as the first index, that is 0. Similarly, if I say I1, in 1 the next index is 1, and it stores the address of j. Ampersand j means address of j. So this is how it stores this is nothing but array of pointers. If you look at this an array, it contains the addresses of all the variables. So it is array of pointers, and this IPTR equals to 10. See, this is what you have seen in our previous example. Star PTR or asterisk IPTR, it refers to it's the reverse operator or reverse pointer. It display or it stores the content of the variable, or in this example index 10. So in the first index it is 10, it stores the value 10. Similarly 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So star is again is the reverse operator. So ampersand or and I stands for address of operator. So this is the concept of arrays of pointers. Students, let us continue our discussion in my next session. Thank you very much.